everyone, it's Katie here from the Scrappy Sisters, and I am up with another layout as a guest designer for Crazy Craft Obsession, which is a Australian online scrapbooking store that ships to Australia and New Zealand. So I am using, as you've probably seen already this month, my How to Kill a Kit with Style, which is the Simple Stories Frontier, Say Cheese Frontier at the Park, I think is its full title. And then Cass from Crazy Craft Obsession added a few, I think 5 extra papers from their store that would coordinate really nicely with the kit. And so this layout is using one of those papers as the background there. I think it was a Jen Hadfield paper from memory. And then this top paper with the stars on it is from the Simple Stories collection. And then I have these 6 photos that I'm working with. So I am doing my kind of classic go-to grid design. The physical design changes a lot, but I often find myself doing a grid. I think it's because I do a lot of multi-photo layouts, particularly now that I have children. I never used to. I was always a kind of 1 or 2 max photos on a page and sort of, loved creating my mini kind of pieces of art. I still really enjoy that, but because I have children and I just take so many photos, I do find myself putting a lot more photos on the page, and this one is no exception. So we are actually at a local farm here in Melbourne. It's like a little hobby farm run actually by a local council, and so it's really cheap to go to. I think it costs you like $5 per person to attend, and then you can pay for a couple of extra things while you're in there. One of those being a horse ride on a little Shetland pony, and another being a little kind of train ride. It's really a tractor ride. A tractor pulls a couple of little kind of train sort of carriages, and it takes you around the sort of outer areas of the farm where some of the larger animals are. And so, of course, we had to do both of those things because Lincoln had never ridden a horse before, and he'd been on a train, of course, but I knew that he would love the train ride. So we did both of those activities. Only cost like $3. So it's a really nice, affordable, fun day out for a family. So we had a great time. And I thought it would be perfect to use some of the cowboy ephemera from the Simple Stories collection. He's riding a horse. That's as close to being a cowboy as I'm going to get here in Australia. We don't really have cowboys necessarily. So, I put a lot of the cowboy-related things on this page. The cowboy boots and the hats. I've got a little yeehaw, or yeehaw, I guess you would say yeehaw. Little speech bubble, and then some of the words that end up on the page are cowboy themed as well. I do use the horns there, but I definitely don't use the other kind of hunting, the mounted heads. It's not really a thing in Australia. We have no large game to hunt. The biggest thing we have is deer. So that's not really a thing. So yeah, I'm unlikely to ever use those. But I thought the horns, they work. They'll go on. We saw some cows. And then obviously the little Shetland pony, which is super cute. Lincoln loved that horse ride. I definitely want to go back. Maybe when it's not quite so busy, although, they only do the horse rides during the busier times. So I guess it's always going to be busy. It was the school holidays when we went. Anyway, it was a great time. What else can I tell you? So, as I said, I am guest designing for Crazy Craft Obsession this month with Cass and Jacques, the lovely owners there, are wonderful, and they stock so many awesome products. So definitely go and check them out. I will leave a link in the description box. Now, it is an affiliate link, and so if you choose to shop with them and it's something that you would like to do, use my link and you will get $15 off your purchase with a minimum spend. I think it's a minimum spend of like $50 maybe. And then I also get something in return as well. I think I get $15 as well, but I'm not 100% sure on that, but I definitely get a perk. So full disclosure, if you use that link, I will get a little perk from that, but so do you. So I feel like it's a win-win. But if it is something you want to do, my link is in the description box down below. And they stock heaps of great product, lots of like the American crafts brands. They can be a little trickier to get here in Australia, but also they are great at ordering stuff in. So if there's something specific that you want from those brands, they will definitely do their best to see if they can access it for you from their suppliers. So they also, just FYI, stock my favourite art glitter glue. So go, and they've had their restock. So art glitter glue had some production issues with COVID, as did many companies, so they were out of stock for ages, but it's all come back in. So I got myself a large bottle so I could refill my smaller bottle. I need to get myself the metal, lid bit. So Cass, when you're listening to this, make sure you put one aside for me because I am buying one in my next order. I want the little metal tip to make it a little bit easier to put my glue, particularly on my cut files. So I've nearly finished this layout. I am adding those little word strips to the page. I've added some ephemera into each corner. As I said, I added the train because we're on a train in the two bottom, kind of the bottom middle and the bottom right hand picture. We're on a little train. I mean, as I said, it's a tractor pulling some little train carriages, but we called it a train. So that's what we're doing in those photos. And then in the photo on the bottom left, he's patting some, they were lambs, but there were goats there as well. So I used the goat ephemera with a little dynamite stick in its mouth. I didn't get a photo of him with the goats. He wasn't that interested in the goats. They're quite large animals and they were quite sort of in your face, and that was a bit much for him. So the lambs were obviously much smaller, cuter, and kind of more approachable. So that was what he was happy to go in and pat. Now I'm just creating my title, which is Farmyard Fun. I am using the thickers that Cass included in the kit for me. Now I am leaving a space on the right hand side. That's deliberate. I'm going to add some lines in a minute, and I will do some journaling there. I just wanted to acknowledge that I realise that there's a large white space. And while ordinarily I'm all for white space, it does look a bit weird because it's the only white space on this page. But I do add some lines so that I can come back and write some journaling. I wanted to put down, where we were, what we were doing, that the date obviously, because I knew that is something I will probably forget as we move through the years. By the way, just excuse me, I'm multitasking. I'm just popping a little bit of milk in my cup of tea that I just made. Addison is asleep, so we don't know how long that lasts for, so we have to make the best use of the time that we have. So I've made myself a little cup of tea that I will drink once I have finished this voiceover. I think I have one more voiceover to do, and then ideally I'd like to film some videos. Look at that. Here we go. We are all finished. Here's my close-ups. Make sure if you want to do some shopping, you check out Crazy Craft Obsession in the link down below, and we'll see you in our next video. Thanks, guys. Bye.